Another day, another podcast, Dan.
Yeah,
We're getting pretty good at this. This is the big 1-0.
Oh yeah, 10. We're in the double digits now.
We're into double digits.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, we're doing great, man.
Yeah, I'm proud of us.
I'm really looking forward to these. I enjoy them.
Yeah, they're good. It's always fun to discuss training, get the thoughts out loud. Always something to learn when you do that, I think.
So what's going on in the gym? Where are we at?
Oh, so we talked a little bit last time about our all killer no filler program, and now we're kind of right in the midst of it.
That was before we started. We were talking about it before we started. Yeah. Now we're going. We're a week in, and we've just started the first workout of week 2.
Yeah, and so far I would say a pretty big success. We established some baselines in the first week like we wanted to, and now we're setting up some training parameters based off those baselines. So people get specific training based on their capabilities. They have some targets to shoot for when it comes to weights and paces, and that can be kind of reassuring that you have something to aim for. It really focuses in the training, and you're not like just out there floating around trying to just grasp at numbers, right? Like it's assigned to you.
The having something to work for.
Yeah. That
I think is something that's kind of been new in this phase. I haven't seen in a long time. And I think it's been really relieving because people know they have a thing that they're shooting for. And that rather than just trying to do their best or like give their best performance, they're shooting for a particular target and trying to execute on that clear target.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of relieving.
It is relieving. And I think that it tends to use our measurables in the best possible way, which is it's giving you something specific to shoot for based on your capabilities, which is good, but not just chasing the highest number on the wall, which I think can be part of like the downside of using metrics where you're just like, I just need to get the fastest time up there, or I need to get the heaviest weight up there, and it doesn't matter how I do this, or even if it makes sense for me. And I think that's where the measurables can kind of go wrong. And this is a way of like kind of using them to their best capabilities.
Yeah, talk a little bit more about like what you meant about the metrics not always being great or not always being in your best interest to focus on.
I think one of the specialties or the special things about our gym is that we do track progress in very meaningful ways. A lot of people go to the gym, they just grab the same weights or don't even have any idea of what weight they're grabbing. And that's not really training. Training needs to be measured and managed and specific. So I think that ultimately that's a good thing that we track weights, but sometimes people can get so focused on the weights or what the number is on the wall as far as their paces go, or whatever the measurable is, that can kind of overwhelm the training process. And I think that's kind of where it can go wrong, because I think while training should be specific and targeted, I think the bigger picture thing is training should be more of a function of who you are, and should reaffirm your identity and who you want to be, and should not necessarily just be about, oh, I can bench this much weight or I can row this fast. And I think that can get lost when you're just chasing numbers all the time.
Yeah, and I've read recently that there's this thing of want to say the concept was achievement award error. And this might not be exactly it, but basically when you have a big event, when you dedicate your life to like one particular thing, one particular outcome, and the goal might be a 300-pound bench press. Mm-hmm. You've focused, you've practiced for years and years and years to bench 300 pounds. You finally bench 300 pounds and it's underwhelming. Yeah. It's not what you expected it to live up to. It didn't feel as good as you hoped it would. And that sort of error in your subconscious predicting that this would be some sort of like amazing feeling and it not living up to that actually makes you less incentivized to work on things in the future. Mm-hmm. So it kind of messes with your dopamine release and makes process less rewarding to participate in, because you've sort of trained yourself to be let down,
right?
Or that like the working toward a particular goal isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's danger in like setting these sort of arbitrary goals because you'll hit them.
Yeah.
And when you do, it probably won't be what you think it will be.
Yeah. I mean, I think we see that in our domain probably more than anything else is with scale weight. So people think if they get to
Yeah.
120 pounds or 150, whatever their number is, that somehow they're going to magically be happy and everything is going to feel good, and they're going to be where they want, and they're going to find fulfillment in their body and in their self-confidence. And I think working on yourself and improving your capabilities and even your body composition can certainly be rewarding, but it's very rarely tied to a specific number that like is the home run. Like, oh, I made it to 120 pounds. I'm there. I've arrived. I don't need to do anything else. Almost nobody feels that way.
Yeah. So what do you do instead? Right? Like, how do you train yourself in a healthy way where you're getting the rewards progressively and daily without this big event and then potential letdown?
Because I think the way to do that most effectively or most consistently is to focus more on the actions and rather than the outcomes or the rewards. So if you can focus more on, you know,
the process focus.
Yeah, process focus, the things that you can control, because quite honestly, the scale weight is something that you can manipulate to an extent, but like you can't really control it.
It's a result
specifically.
It's not a process.
Yeah.
Your weight isn't it's not a process.
Yeah,
It's
you can do the things that will get you
sure
to X, Y, and Z weight, but it's not completely in your control. But how many days you show up to the gym a week, or, you know, how many days a week you meal prep, or how many times a month you check in with your nutrition coach, or whatever processes you're putting in place, those are things that are in your control, and those things will really pay rewards long term. You know, it's like this idea of compounding interest. Like they feel like small things when they're happening, but uninterrupted over the long term just leads to such greater rewards than just kind of chasing a number in the short term, getting there and be like, well, I'm done. So I would say just stick to like the actionable items that are in your control and try to do them as consistently as possible for as long a time as possible. And I think that's kind of the real big road to success.
So here's the idea. Instead of setting like a long-term target down the road, you set the target for a daily practice, a daily execution. And that could be just doing the thing or practicing the thing that's going to ultimately lead to the target that you want, but you reinforce yourself every day and you give yourself that dopamine hit from checking off the box of the process every day. Yeah. Then you get those little rewards daily. You train yourself to be getting the reward every day instead of getting the reward only once way down the road. And you may or may not actually like hit this target. And then if you do, it may let you down and not even feel as great as you imagined it would be.
Yeah. But checking off that box every day is, you know, it will be a thing that feels good ultimately.
Oh, I feel awesome when I execute on my day.
Yeah.
When I eat the things that I know I need to eat, when I get the training in that I know I need to get, when I execute on my career and my responsibilities of the things that I know are important to the business and to our career path.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it feels awesome.
Yeah. But I think then the other danger of that, or the thing to be aware of, is you don't let those things that you check off, don't let those boxes that you tick be the goal, right? Keep in mind of like, what is it that you're actually trying to accomplish, and have those boxes you check off be in service of those things. Because I think sometimes then people can get too wrapped up in like, oh, I got to do this, and this. And like that becomes like the main driver in life.
It's still important to like keep an eye on the target.
Yeah.
Like, what is the North Star?
Right.
What is the direction that we are headed?
Right.
Am I in service of that?
Right.
Am I checking off the boxes that are in service to that every day? Don't get too neurotic over like the exact specifics of the things.
Because checking off the box of like, I made a YouTube video every day this week is great, but if it's not ultimately in service of growing the business,
you're still missing the point.
Yeah, you missed it. Yeah. So like, and it's very easy to just be like, well, this is what I do. This is what I do. But at some point you got to step back and be like, well, is this getting me the result that I'm looking for? And if not, it's time to build some sort of new process that will get you the result you're looking for. So I think like figure out what will work, stick with it for a while, but always be reassessing and making sure that it's like fulfilling the bigger picture. I think that's kind of important.
So what do you think the target for most of our people should be? Like, what do you think a worthy target, a worthy North Star, a worthy goal?
Yeah,
is.
I don't think there is anything that can succeed. You cannot reach any goal without consistency. So I think like a really great goal for most people would be number of training sessions per week, number of training sessions per month, number of training sessions per year, however you want to break it down. It makes the most sense for you. But how often can you do that, and how can you keep that streak alive?
Mm-hmm.
So how is it, let's like, I've racked up 8 weeks of going 3 times a week without missing it. And if you do miss it, just get right back on it as quick as you can.
It sounds simple, but there's really a lot of layers to it. It's actually really, really deep, right?
People are really, really quick to do something that is finite and can be over quickly. And like, that's why 12-week and 6-week challenges work so well, because you have like a real finite thing ahead of you. But kind of the real next level thing is like, can you just keep putting in this work infinitely? And like I said about the compounding thing, it's like, that's really where it pays off. It's training or nutrition or whatever. It's a top end business. Like you gotta create this giant base of good habits. And then all the rewards come at the top end when you're like just really doing it consistently. And the more and more time you do it, the more and more you'll reap those rewards. I've just seen that work every time.
Because think of what you're talking about. If you're really able to become a master, a pro at what you're talking about, we're saying you're training every day, 6 days a week. We'll say like maybe 1 day off a week, but like almost every day, right?
Yeah, sure.
If you're doing that, that means you're not getting injured because you're training 6 days a week. If you're getting injured, it's going to interrupt your training and you're not going to be able to execute it. So you're probably moving well. Right. And you're probably working at paces, at efforts and weights that are appropriate for you to continue training.
Right.
It also means that the training system that you're in is engaging and meaningful to you because you're going to keep doing it. If it wouldn't be interesting, you'd fall off. You'd find a reason. You'd get out of it. You wouldn't be happy. Right. You've got to be engaged with it, into it, and be making meaningful progress with it, or else it's not going to be worth it. Right. It's also got to be fulfilling to you in a practice, right? It's got to be doable within the time constraints that you have, and probably surrounded with people that you like.
Yeah.
You're going to have to like the people. If even if the training's great, even if you're doing it at appropriate levels, but you hate everybody there, you're not going to keep doing it. You're going to find a way out of it. So there's a lot of layers to being able to train almost every day. And it's something to aspire to.
Yeah.
It's a goal. It's not like you need to go right from 0 up to 6, but it's a worthy target to say like, hey, I wonder if I could get good enough at working out and get myself into a system that I liked to where I could train every day and I would feel like I'm still making progress. I'm not getting injured. I feel good and I look forward to it.
Yeah.
That is something that's worthy to aspire to.
For sure.
To go for.
Yeah, that's great. That's like everything.
And I would even say that people like you tell people that dream, a lot of people in our industries and professionals say impossible. Can't do it. You shouldn't be training more than 4 days a week. You can't recover to train that way. Like I guarantee we'll get a lot. Hope one day if we get enough people to watch these YouTube shows, we're gonna get comments saying like, can't do that. But I think you totally can. I think you can. You just have to look at it in a deep, meaningful way.
Right. That's like saying the flip side, which is like you can only get success by training 6 days a week, which is also not true.
That's not true. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is it's a worthy goal.
Yeah.
It's something to aspire to.
Yeah.
And if you could do that through life, if you can be doing that into your 50s, 60s, 70s, man, your quality of life's going to be high.
Very high. I mean, I think a way to put it succinctly is like, the effort has to be rewarded by the system and the system has to be rewarded by the effort. It's like a two-way street. So the effort that you're putting in should make sense with the system, and then the system should reward that effort by having, efficacy based on what you're putting into it. So they have to work together. Yeah. You have to meet whatever system you're working on. You have to meet it halfway. You put in the effort, it rewards you appropriately, and then it also yields the results that you're looking for.
So what do you want to see in next week from our people? Week 2, week 3, because we're really just starting week 2. If we're talking directly to our members, like what do we want to see from them in the coming weeks?
Yeah, so I would say specifically to engage in the process, right? So everything we're doing right now is not. This is a nice segue into this. So this week, next week, they're not so reward based, right? Like everybody loves testing a 2-rep max. It feels great, see what you're capable of. But now we're really in the part of it where it's like, okay, so we figured that out. Now let's do some real structured, systematic training that ultimately drives those numbers up, where you're not going to feel that. You're not going for a 2-rep max this week. You're using percentages of your 2-rep max in order to establish training at an appropriate volume, at an appropriate intensity that ultimately drives that 2-rep max up and higher down the line. So put in the effort to this kind of more systematic training, not performance-based training, because if you want your performance to go up, this is really the proven way of doing it. Follow the system. Not everything is to maximum all the time. Trust the percentages, trust the paces. Down the line, that pays off in a better performance. So have that mindset of like, I've tested, I've performed, now it's time to put in the work. So that down the line, this performance will improve.
There you have it, crew. So I'm Kyle.
I'm Dan.
And we are from the Fort, and we take this seriously.
And we do what works.